Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever we are around the world. Hopefully, all of you are well. Hopefully, everyone's having a good Friday evening. And welcome back to, like I said, another match preview show. It is Liverpool v Manchester City. Normally, it has something on the line, doesn't it? Normally, it's a league title on the line between the two teams, or something like that. But of course, this season is a bit different compared to other seasons where it is normally Liverpool or City fighting for the title. Yes, City are still fighting for the title, kind of, but again, they are slowly running out of games to catch up to Arsenal, which, again, they're not helping themselves either. Of course, last time out for them, they drew 2-2 to Spurs, and like, with the gap now being, 6 points, now they need to start winning games of football to, again, catch up to Arsenal. But again, against Liverpool at Anfield, it's a rare thing that City do end up getting anything from the fixture, and hopefully that stays the same as well, because even though I think a lot of us would prefer City to win the league over Arsenal, I think if it meant Liverpool lost this game, again, I wouldn't want that. I want Liverpool to win this game of football because, yet again, Liverpool need Champions League football. And the way it's going at the minute, the top 4, top 5 race at the minute is crazy, because if Liverpool were to lose this game, and then there's the possibility that Liverpool could be 8th by the end of the weekend, if certain results happen, which, again, I think Sunderland would have to score 5 in their game on goal difference, but still, the possibility is still there that Liverpool can finish 8th by the end of this weekend if we don't beat Manchester City. So with that being said, I very much would like to batter City at Anfield, of course, especially with what happened at the Etihad earlier on in the season. And still, again, getting a win against Pep Guardiola is also very nice in that factor as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'll be very intrigued to know your guys' thoughts. And of course, I want to talk a bit about City to begin with, because, like I said, they are 6 points off the top of the league at the moment. Of course, they do have a bit of an injury crisis at the minute, similar to Liverpool in that sense, where, again, I'm going through the history list now, and it's pretty bad when you do consider, again, probably the first team names that are missing. Again, looking at it, John Stones, Guardiola, Bernardo Silva, Doku, Savinho as well, and all of them meant to be coming back pretty late on into the season. Again, John Stones, it does say John Stones and Bernardo Silva are doubts more than certain outs. But again, when I look at Doku, late February, Savinho, late February, Guardiola, possibly end of the season for him as well. And looking at their potential team as well for the weekend, I look at it and go, it's still a decent, strong team. I think their attack, again, it's very good. Obviously, Erling Haaland. But I think obviously adding the quality of Semenyo and, of course, Mark Gahey as well will also help them long term in terms of obviously the Champions League and obviously the League Cup as well. But it's that still factor of, I look at their defence and I feel like their defence can be got at. Even though they have added Mark Gahey into that, I think, looking at it, I think you can get at Matthias Nunes. I think you can get at Ait Nouri as well. Because I think Donnarumma has been working overtime, I think, for City. And I think that comes down to, number one, I think Rodri is currently struggling. I watched the second half. I watched the game between City and Spurs. And for me, I think Rodri, I thought he, in my opinion, very much struggled. And again, that's obviously down to him, again, being injured and not being the player that he was, or being at least the what's the right word? Not being the engine that he has been, obviously with the ACL, and he doesn't look the same player that's come back. Obviously, they rushed him back earlier on in the season, didn't they? They did end up, rushing him back for the Club World Cup. Then he was, injured, then not injured, struggling to get back up to fitness. Now, I think Pep has even admitted that he's trying to micromanage Rodri at the moment. I think it's a huge problem for City. I think Nico Gonzalez, I think he does a decent job for City when he's called upon, but I think Rodri is their biggest hit, really, where, again, Rodri would do so well in protecting that back line. And now I think you're now starting to see somebody that is different now because of the injury that he did sustain last season, which again is obvious. It's a rare thing for players to come back from serious knee injuries. Again, I always go back to Virgil van Dijk. I think for me is the perfect example of how you come back from it. Did he look the same as what he did? No, but he also become, I think, better in what other factors he had in terms of his game reading and other things as well, where again he doesn't look misplaced then, or hasn't looked misplaced since that injury either. But over 100 charges still ain't it? True. Well, 115, isn't it? Which is obviously still annoying at the minute. Do you see it over or under 4 goals? Possibly over. Again, it depends on it. If it's Liverpool who played Newcastle last week, again, it's going to be a close game. Liverpool and City always is a close game. Even look at the last couple of games, on an overall side, especially at Anfield. Again, looking at the last couple of results, when City beat Liverpool at Anfield back in COVID, when you guys will remember that game at Anfield where Ali had an absolute mare, but obviously that was down to obvious reasons, because I believe it was the week after Ali's dad passed away. So again, COVID time and that mindset as well. Of course, look, it's one of those games, isn't it, where again Ali should never have been a part of it either. But looking from that game, you've got 2-2 draw, 3-1, 2-2, 3-1, 1-0 win for Liverpool, a 1-1 draw, and then a 2-0 win for Liverpool. Obviously last season at Anfield, but still, it's never a good place for City to come across, because apart from that win in COVID, their last win at Anfield, again, I can't even go off the screen. I'm going back to 2011, way past then. Again, I'm not even too sure when they did beat Liverpool, but was it like 2002, 2003 that they last beat us at Anfield? So again, Anfield is definitely a bogey ground for Manchester City, but still, on an overall perspective, of course, Liverpool would want to get revenge for that 3-0 battering earlier in the season. And it was a battering, let's not lie around it. But I'm hoping, again, we've said this multiple times now, that hoping that Liverpool will change the corner with Newcastle game and, try and change a few things. Obviously, the front four is working a bit better, when you got Cody on the left, Vert in behind, Hugo Ekitike, and then Mo Salah on the right. It seems to be working, and I think most likely we will keep the same team than what we've seen that we've seen against Newcastle. In my opinion, I think Liverpool, we need to now start building on it. Of course, in an ideal world, we don't have Dominic Szoboszlai at right back. We have an actual right back at right back, but for now, Dominic Szoboszlai has to play there because, again, yes, you could play Joe Gomez there, and I think Joe Gomez could do a great job there. But yet again, we're having to rely on Joe Gomez, who, number one, can't stay fit, and number two, I think Arne Slot will kind of look at it and go, I'd rather play Dom there for now, because we've got then the backup. Then if, for example, you need to take out an Ibu Konate or Virgil van Dijk, you can play Joe Gomez as centre half, and you don't have to then risk dropping another midfielder into defence in Ryan Gravenberch and having to rely on Wataru Endo in the midfield, even though, again, the last time Wataru Endo started a game against Manchester City, he absolutely bossed it, was the best midfielder on the pitch against Manchester City. So in that sense of things, I think, look, it will be a hard-fought game. I think Liverpool and City, it's always an entertaining game. It's the entertaining game of the season, I think, for neutrals as well, I would say, and an overall level. 4-1 would be perfect, and it would be perfect, not even that. a 5-0 would be perfect as well to Liverpool. That would be the ultimate perfect result anyway. But no, in all seriousness, I do think it will be close. I do think it will be, it would be the odd goal. Again, that won't nick history would suggest that. Last season, obviously, yes, we got a clean sheet against City and Anfield, but I feel like Liverpool last season obviously were performing miles better than we normally do. And this season has been up and down, and it has been, a sense of frustration, and it has been a frustrating season. But it's hopefully now that we've built the last couple of performances off, again, Karabag, Newcastle as well, where hopefully now we can beat City, and then that then puts a real, push then on the season going forward, because Liverpool, look, in terms of the top 4 race or top 5 race, I'm going to call it, because I think, top 5 will get Champions League. There's no doubts about that. But you look how close it is. Villa are slowly coming down. Again, they're on 46 points at the minute. Liverpool's 7 points behind them. I do think Villa will be in the conversation around that top 5 race come the end of the season. I do think potentially they've got Europa League, haven't they, that they might think about, and whether or not they push on to win that. Of course, Unai Emery has loads of experience in the Europa League. But I look at that and go, Liverpool need to start winning games, because our fixtures coming up as well against teams that you should think Liverpool should win against. But this season has proved that, that's a far prediction than anything else. Again, we've got Manchester City on Sunday, on Wednesday, and we've got Sunderland, Brighton in the FA Cup, but then Forest away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Spurs at home as well. So again, the next couple of games, they're going to come thick and fast, and also the teams that Liverpool should be getting points against. So when teams like Chelsea, Villa, United, even Brentford, got to even include them. Again, we need to be beating these, because you never know. Like I said, a loss tomorrow could mean that Liverpool could end up in 8th, and that's how competitive it is at the minute in the Premier League. It is very competitive in an overall sense, where every game matters right now. And look, it's such a huge game, and I do think when we talk about momentum, when we talk about changing a season round, Virgil van Dijk, I think today, obviously the Sky interview came out, didn't it, around and he was saying about he thinks it could be still a successful season, and how certain things could happen now for the Reds this season. And like he said, it still can be a successful season. If Liverpool got European football automatically, that's great. But also there's still the possibility that Liverpool win the Champions League this season. It's still the possibility that we win the FA Cup. And I do think, obviously, the Champions League, I think Liverpool have a great chance in that, looking at the draw and looking how hopefully things go out in that sense of things. Liverpool can, again, advance further than what we did last year in the Champions League. But I think our squad, in an overall sense, is more suited to European football than it is in the Premier League. And I think Arne Slot's even admitted that the squad building hasn't matched up to what the league is demanding at the minute, and more so the Champions League. I think Liverpool have a fantastic chance in. But again, it just depends on who we end up getting, because I think there's a certain way that we could play a couple of English teams. Obviously, I think Spurs, I think we could possibly play Spurs if things work out as well. So again, we have to be on top form, and hopefully also we'll have players coming back from injury, i.e. looking at Alexander Isak later on in the season, if he can come back, of course. But look, it's all about making this season successful now. And for me, the best thing to make this season successful would be automatic Champions League qualifications. You don't have to worry about it. And of course, hopefully go on to win the Champions League. But again, that's all the hopes and dreams, isn't it? But in terms of our injury news and the Liverpool news, in an overall sense, like we said about Joe Gomez, he is available to at least be on the bench, which is good news for us. Unfortunately, obviously, no fresh updates really on Jeremy Frimpong, apart from he is obviously getting his rehab back on track, but also it's the fact that, like I said, it's going to be Dom Szoboszlai, a right back anyway. But still, I think it's that sense of once we can, get Dom out of that situation, I think there is going to need to be a conversation of midfield, because personally, I think the Newcastle game, you saw perfectly how Florian Wirtz is better in the number 10 than he is on the left. I think we've seen so far this season, we've seen him on the left and he's been quite decent. He's been okay. But I do think Flo in the 10, just behind Hugo Ekitike, that's his best position. And we've seen that against Newcastle. We've seen that a couple of times this season, where his best position is behind is behind Hugo Ekitike, sorry, and it is working with him and connecting with him in getting goals and assists. And look, long may it continue. I'm hoping it does continue against Manchester City on Sunday. Of course, but would be a shame to draw English sides in Europe. Shows how good. It is absolutely. Well, again, I think a lot of Serie A fans are fuming because, again, the Premier League sides got in there, didn't they, about how how many English teams got inside the top 8 of the Champions League. Which, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of that case, isn't it, where you look at the teams that spend the most amount of money, or you look at, the league itself. I think the Premier League is the most competitive league out there than anyone else. But I also look at it and go, you could easily say the Serie A, for example, is also competitive because it is. But I think there's a multitude of things really that seal it, in my opinion, anyway. But look, score predictions for me, I'm possibly going to say Liverpool 2-1. I think it'll be close. I'm going to go Ekitike and Salah to get the goals for Liverpool. Obviously Haaland to get their goal. But I think it'll be close. And I do think it will be close because traditionally, in a normal sense, traditionally, it is just all by the odd goal between Liverpool and City, unless one of the teams absolutely battered the other one, which hopefully will be Liverpool at Anfield. But I honestly hope that, again, the performance will match up to the result again, similar to Newcastle in that second half, where the performance got better and better as the game went on. And I hope that's the same again, where Liverpool are straight on the front foot. We don't allow City out. We don't allow them time on the ball. The crowd gets up there for sure. And I think, look, I hope that we get at them and absolutely batter them all over the park. Because again, even though they are in a title race, I don't care. And I really don't care. I want Liverpool to get European football. I want us to get Champions League, and I want us to walk out with 3 points come Sunday night anyway. But if we beat them, is the title over? Yeah, I would say so. What was it? Then Man Villa would be 7 points behind. Well, Villa would be 7 points behind if they win their game. Hang on, let me double check. Who have Villa got this weekend? Oh, Bournemouth away. That's a hard game. If Arsenal beat Sunderland, which I think they will do, what's that then? You've got 9 points being the difference of who to beat them. Yeah, I think that's title gone then. Yeah, you're not catching 9. I think once you get 9 points above everyone else, it's your title then to lose. I think it would be title over then, and it would be top 4 race. I think that will be the conversation as well. I think Arsenal will go clear. I think Arsenal will win the league. I've said that all season long. Well, I've said that since the 8th game of the season when Liverpool started falling off. But I think there'll be kind of a middle ground as well. Like, I think it'll be Arsenal first. City, I think, will be clear second. But like I said, I think Villa will slowly start coming down to Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United. And I think that will be the conversation then of who gets top 5 between Villa, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Personally, I think it will be Liverpool, Chelsea, and Villa that will get top 5. I still think Liverpool finished 3rd this season. Maybe that's being optimistic, potentially, considering we are, 7 points behind Villa ourselves. But still, I think that Liverpool can still get third this season. But yeah, I'm going to go Liverpool, Chelsea, and Villa will get, no in particular order, but I think them three will get Champions League, and I think United will miss out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, that'll be my prediction anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. Of course, apologies, it is a short match preview show. Look, we will have a special out tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Jeremy Jacquet. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, we're going to be talking about him. Again, it is pre-recorded, so hopefully everything with all the editing going into it, hopefully it will be good. So we can release it out tomorrow. So that's the video for tomorrow for you guys. And then on Sunday, we, of course, will bring match reaction to you guys after the game. But if you guys haven't checked out the shorts as well, because we have been throwing them out, of course, we did kind of speak about Rio and Gamoa. Of course, Liverpool do have to play... of course, a maximum of 6.8 million to Chelsea for Rio and Gamoa. Of course, the tribunal come out, and pretty expensive when you do take it into consideration, but still, it's I think it's a reasonable thing for what happened, really. Of course, obviously, remember Danny Ings cost so much. I think he cost over 10 million. The Liverpool had to pay Burnley. So, yeah, unbelievable in that sense as well. But look, hopefully you guys have seen that. If not, go and check out the shorts. And yeah, it will be over there. If there is any other bits of news, of course, we will be live for it, or again, post the shorts for you guys, at least anyway. But until next time, that's going to be it from me. But hopefully you guys have a good rest of your weekend if I don't see you. But until next time, that's going to be it. Like I said, from me, I've been Connor from the Kickoff Council. We'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.